Okay. Hello. And hello. Tonight I'm going to do my first toy review. Excuse me. Excuse me for that. As I was saying, I was going to do my first toy review tonight. And it's on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 1. The whole Bandai set. To show the whole Megazord era. In the review, I'm going to show the Dinosaurs, the Dragon Zord, and Titanus. Before that, I will show the little toy Rangers that would go perfect with these Zords. So let's start the review. And the first part of the review, let's get to him. Let's get if I could just get him stand up the right way. Let's get the Black Ranger and the Mastodon. Yes, we're starting from the beginning of the morphing grid. The Mastodon and Black Ranger. Little thing before I start the review on the Mammoth. The Black Ranger is one of the first Rangers who starts in the morphing grid when they start morphing. And when he's not in the Black Ranger uniform, the suit, he is dance instructor Walter Jones, not Walter Jones, but Zachary Taylor. And Zachary Taylor was played by the actor Walter Jones. And then later on Adam came in. Adam Park, I believe. Now I'm not sure what their whole real name, their last names are in the show. So I remember a few of them. And I decided to get down Megazord and have him with the Rangers. Now these are just the 2010 toys that they have in a special set. And if the Mastodon was a lot bigger, he'd be the size of a pea to this sword. But I just decided to add him to the whole look. He has the Mastodon Power Coin, which now you can get at Starlight Studios online. I'm not sure about that, but anyway, let's put him away. Let's put him to the side. And let's look at the Mastodon. Yes, the Mastodon. Or the Mammoth. And it's an alright Zord. It's a sturdy Zord. And it doesn't break. It doesn't break like it does. Like we do automatically. I wouldn't just say, throw your Mastodon down your 2-story house, because that would break it. And you never want to watch these. Because the more time, if you watch these, you would basically cause the joints to rust. The irons would start rusting. So anyway, I don't have a turntable on me, but he's got silver chrome tusk that are a plastic, an ABS plastic trunk, and in the show, when he came out for the whole dinosaur sequence, he had steam that would come out of his nose, and he would start walking on the screen on the ice with his trunk tail moving. So anyway, he's got the M for the Megazord. He's got when you turn him around, he's got the fist for the Megazord. Keep on turning around. Not a bad toy. The Mastodon is not really part of dinosaurs. Nah, they died 65 million years ago. His species died out a couple thousand years ago. He was around 10,000 BC. But he's not a bad looking Zord. And he's a main part to the Megazord. So anyway, Walter Jones would jump up into the Mastodon, and the cockpit wasn't bad looking either. Every Zord cockpit wasn't bad. And it had these colored incandescent bulbs in there. Plus it had the power coin, so you'd see what kind of coin there was. So anyway, taking him off there, we now will move to Pterodactyl, and also we'll also bring her out. The Pink Ranger. And not bad. Not bad setup. The Pink Ranger was Kimberly, and she was played by Amy Jo Brown. Not Amy Jo Brown, but Amy Jo Johnson. But anyway, the only time you can get the Pink Ranger is in the same set of the Rangers. Now, every single Ranger that I have, right, every single Zord, the 5 dinosaurs and the Dragon Zord, has their own Ranger to go with it. So anyway, let's take Pink Ranger out of the way. Now let's look at the Pterodactyl. Not bad. Not my favorite. Here's why. Even though it has a ball joint on its head, you can do this, you can do that. It's really easy breakable. And she doesn't have no cannons. She doesn't have any feet to hold her down. You have to have the cannons. Or other way, you take the cannons off the Pterodactyl and take it off there and gone. Pterodactyl's dead. That's what I don't like about the Zord. And the wings, I don't like the wings at all. They could have been more, but when you really look up and we do that, it doesn't have that whole up and down. It's like down and out, down and in. when a bird's wings flap down. It doesn't have it. And you can tell that's a pink Zord because of the stickers. And it's got these little tabs on the side, which sometimes the Megazord falls apart. It falls off the Megazord sometimes. So anyway, Kimberly was in gymnastics. I can't pronounce it tonight. Oh, gymnastics. She would do stuff on there that a lot of the others wouldn't do. So anyway, she always worried about her hair or something like that. So that's why she wouldn't be. That's why she would be a downer as a ranger. She would not be. She'd be a downer as a ranger, because all she did was think something's gross or something like that. But anyway, she pulled the pink costume off good. So anyway, leaving off from her, in my opinion on this Zord, the whole red right here should be pink, just to give it that look, like you see it. I love the geometric triangles. I love that. That's what I like about this Zord. And if you look carefully, they got little tabs here that latch onto the Mastodon and holds the piece from Titanus. Little cannons. So anyway, that is all I can say about the pterodactyl. Oh yeah, the pterodactyl is a dinosaur. It died 65 million years ago. So it'd be considered a dinosaur. So anyway, oh, 1 minute. Anyway, as I was saying, next we have one of the dinosaurs that I like. We have the Triceratops, and let's get him out of it. And we got the Blue Ranger, Billy. What can I say about Billy? Oh yeah, Billy was played by David Yost. And Billy was a computer whiz. He built robotics. He fixed computers. Stuff that would get you into that stuff. So anyway, now I'm not sure what Billy's last name is. Cardson, Crashin, I'm not sure. So anyway, let's move him out of the way and review the Triceratops. Now, Triceratops ain't bad. I like the Zord. I like it a lot. It rolls. The cans are this silver chrome plastic, like the Mammoth Tusk are. Turn them around, and he's got this chrome plastic, the same chrome stuff, on his guns. In the show, he would get, when they got into a fight, he would battle, and his guns would come up like that, and he'd fire lasers out of his cans. And sometimes he battery rammed them. Now, one thing I think's cool about this Zord, what I like about this Zord, is the bar graph. This whole bar graph right here. In my opinion, they should have brought LEDs into him. Give him more look. But there's no LEDs. The only complaint I have about this Zord is right here when you look at his face. It's supposed to be white. If you look carefully when he's coming out of the sand, it's all white and you see. And his eyes could have been more popped out. But anyway, this is a nice Zord. The color should have been the same color as a Dodge Neon Blue. But anyway, it's not a bad looking Zord. So anyway, yeah, the Triceratops was one of the leaf eaters in the Cretaceous period. He did fight a lot of times with T-Rex. And he was pretty much one of the fiercest plant eaters around. He took a T-Rex on with no problem. So anyway, let's move on to him and bring out this. The saber-tooth tiger. Yep, saber-tooth tiger. And let's also bring out the Yellow Ranger. And Yellow Ranger was played by the giving a hard time seeing her. The Terang. And she was Yellow Ranger. But in the show Power Rangers, she also played trainee. She played trainee for the whole time. Till a couple episodes later, till the time to exchange Rangers into Aisha. And then so on. But anyway, Trainee is the Yellow Ranger, but she was more parts. She was like Billy, but she had brawn strength like Jason too, and she's not bad. So anyway, let's put her aside and review the saber-tooth. The saber-tooth tiger's not bad. It has the same silver plastic as the mammoth and the Triceratops. It has wheels that are made from an ABS plastic, I believe. And if you do it right, if you grab right here on the legs, it's got a real nice ratchet. Do it right and it looks like she's running. But be really careful with her. Be really careful. Now the saber-tooth tiger was not a dinosaur too. It belonged in into the other periods. Not the Cretaceous period, but 10,000 years ago, saber-tooth died too. And this one has to be one of my favorites, big time. It's alright. It's a nice shade of yellow. I like the shade of yellow on it. I think all Zords in Power Rangers are this shade of yellow. I think all the Yellow Ranger Zords are this shade of yellow, I believe. It's got a gun, like the saber-tooth, like the Triceratops has. To access the gun, you just flip the tail over there and you just hold in place. And then you got the gun. It doesn't have the bar grab. Nope. The only thing I think would be really cool about this Zord is the mouth would open. Yeah. And this thing could bite in the show. It could bite an enemy. And the Zord is really breakable if you're not careful with him. It's a sturdy Zord, but you can still break it. So anyway, the saber-tooth tiger is done. So now we move on. We move on to this guy. This is the Tyrannosaurus Rex. And lucky with them, I have also, to go with him, the Red Ranger. Yep, the Red Ranger. And Red Ranger was played by karate instructor August St. John, I believe. And August St. Johnson. I believe that's what his name is. And the Red Ranger is the leader of the Power Rangers. And he's not bad. He's not a bad looking toy. This is all, these Ranger guys are all from the same box. Now you can't just buy a lot of Power Rangers. You just can't go online. Go some places. Some online places have a set, but I think they're about $70-80 when they had these in Big Lots, and they were $15 for the whole set, except the dinosaur. So anyway, we look at the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and this thing is big. He's got the most movement of any of the Zords. His mouth open, his mouth moves up and down. You can have his jaw open, like he's trying to eat something. His arms move like nothing. That's what I like about that Zord. You can have them in T-Rex. You can have them basically do the shape of the T-Rex, how they look in a show, how they would look. He's got bendable knees, bendable feet. His tail moves up and down. Mine still has the tip of it. Mine has the tip of the tail. He's got little nubs back here. He's got little lock places where you lock and place the Zord. And my favorite, he's really my favorite of any other Zord of the set. I love the Zord a lot. And sometimes he would team up with the Dragon Zord. Sometimes. He was the only Zord else between the others when they were in Dragon Zord and fighting mode. He was the only Zord who could fight too. So now I know we're not doing Dragon Zord, but we're not going to do Dragon Zord yet. But here's would be a comparison. And Dragon Zord is a little bit more bigger than he is. But yeah, I think something like that would be a lot better. I like this Zord. I like it a lot. So anyway, in the show, he would rise up first. You see that whole thing of him coming through, the whole explosion of the earth opening up and all that junk. He'd come out and start roaring and all that stuff. His arms would start moving. He would come out. And he had the other Zords. What I don't like about this Zord particularly is he's got this little nub here in his hand, his fist, his hand, and his claws are moved together. That I don't like. A T-Rex never has that. Never had that claw. If they could at least put the claw back here on his foot, the starting of his calf. But anyway, not bad. Not a bad Zord, but not bad. And what could be really fun to do is this. Now I know this ain't gonna be shown till later, but I always think it's funny. Okay. Sorry about that. As I was saying before, you could have the power sword in the T-Rex's his hand. Like he's getting ready to fight with it. So you can pretend like he's mad at the Mastodon. Mastodon's mad at him. Saber-tooth Tiger got mad at Pterodactyl. And so on. So anyway, enough with the horseplay like that. So anyway, like I was saying, in the show, after dinosaurs were introduced, there was one thing also that could happen. They could combine. And to do that, all the dinosaurs would gather up in formation, and when that happened, it started transformation to Megazord. To start transformation to Megazord, we're going to do it this way. We're going to first look at the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Move his arms up to his chest. Push down on his legs. Pull his tail up, and he's ready for the dino tank. Now come down to the Triceratops. Come here to the gun. Rotate him 180 degrees. Flip his tail over and lock it into place. Next, come up to the saber-tooth tiger, and like the mammoth, like the Triceratops, flip the tail up like that to lock in place. Take the back legs, push them in, rotate the fangs up, like that, and lock them into place. Right here on the T-Rex, there's little knee joints that lock in the back of the Triceratops and the saber-tooth. Just lock them into place. You hear a click, and now he's got wheels. He rolls nicely. Next, you want to come to the mammoth, pull the head off, split the body open, straighten up the legs, rotate the legs up, and back here on the T-Rex, there's tabs on in the back, and the man's got tabs too. Push them until you hear a click, and then on the side, there's little tab grooves on the side. Push them in, and now the Megazord has what? The tank has arms. Now, let's let T-Rex's head up for a bit. Take the mammoth head, and there's a gray holder out here. Pull that up, and plug it into the hole onto the T-Rex's chest. Like that. And now the last thing you gotta do is get the pterodactyl ready. Pull the pterodactyl. Pull the hands off the pterodactyl. Plug them into place. Like that. And like that. Make sure the slide ends are always facing outwards. Now, bring pterodactyl and fold the wings inside. Like that. Turn your tank around. And right here on the pterodactyl, there's little tabs on the side where it locks into place. Cabin in. You may have to be a few tries, but as soon as you get it in, it's locked in place. And just pull the tail back. And there is the Megazord in tank mode. Megazord tank mode. 1 minute. Okay. We're good. And it's not a bad looking Zord. It's not a bad mode. It looks nice. But yeah, in the show they'd go run down, they'd have to go run into the place. The tank will go driving down the road. And every time a monster attacked it, lasers would just bounce off it, cause explosions. And every dinosaur fired a laser out. Pup, stop. Sorry about that. They would all fire a laser out of their eyes. And sometimes they would go in the battle and destroy their enemy like that. But otherwise, the dinosaur, there was one more transformation. There was one more transformation up there. And that is Megazord Battle Mode. This is just tank mode right now. To start, you'd see them all coming in. Jason coming down a thing, and Jason would say, switch to Megazord Battle Mode. They'll be all like, right. And the voice would come on and say, Megazord transformation has been initiated. And it would start transforming. Well, to start transformation to this, you'd come up here, pull into place, take the cannons off, take the mammoth head off, put the T-Rex head back down in place. Fine. Pull the pterodactyl off, turn them around, take your cannons that was in the paws of the Megazord, plug them into place. Now, take the tail of the T-Rex. There's a tab right here in the back of the mammoth that holds the tab to the T-Rex's tail, lock in place. Just push it up and lock into place to hear a click. Then come to the legs right here and adjust them in. Your Megazord has fists now. Now, up here, you want to start the whole bending. Take that, lock into place. I know it looks like he's looking down, and then just set him into place. I had to fix my camera. As I was saying, now take his arms and pull them down. Extend the M's. Place them up into their original position, and then Pterodactyl would come flying in like this. land right here and start transforming. And you see it fly this way. To do that, take the head of the pterodactyl, pull it in, fold it in, take the wings, fold them in, come to the T-Rex, and pull its chest piece down. It looks like you just cut something out of them. That's fine. That's what the whole transformation is for. Take the head of the T-Rex, push it down, lock the T-Rex's, close it back up to reveal the Megazord head, and then just push in the pterodactyl. And extend the little horns on the side. And there is your Dino Megazord. And he's not bad. He's a really nice toy. He's got a good ratchet on his arms. His arms can move 360 degrees. He's sturdy. He's sturdy. He's got a really nice color to him when the light's on him. We have these big old shop lights, and it's aluminum pretty well. Which is just fine. That's what I like about him. Now, he's not my favorite Megazord of all time. But he's alright. So anyway, in the show when it's all transformed, his eyes would light up, his fists would move, and it'd say Megazord completed. Not completed, but activated. And then he'd do that whole flexing that he does in the show. Looking at him, he's alright. He's kind of intimidating looking in a way. But he's not, he's tall. You're not going out. Get out. He's a really tall Zord. It's a real tall toy. Well, some of his powers would, he'd have a laser come out of his little cannon up here on his head. His eyes would shoot lasers too. But there was also a couple times when he needed help. He called on Upshield, which was the Mammoth Head. And the Mammoth Head would just plug into place. Like that. And anytime somebody shot a laser at him, it just bounced off and goes somewhere else. But sometimes the Mammoth Head just disappeared somewhere. But it just disappeared somewhere. We didn't know where it went. My thing is, it must have teleported someplace off to the edge and just came back. So anyway, not also did the Megazord have something else. They also bring something more powerful in. The Power Sword. And the Power Sword is the same coloring, the same plastic color as the horns, the cannons, and the tusk on the mammoth. It just comes swooping in like this, with fog around, and the Megazord would pick it up. Would pick it up like that, and sometimes he'd fight with it. Or when he got done taking off defeating an enemy, He'd raise his sword up, do a He-Man thing, and his eyes would light up and he'd slice, destroying the enemy. And that's all he did. But sometimes when they had to switch back to dinosaur mode, or sometimes switch to tank mode. That happened a couple times on the show. And it's alright, Zord. But then they would have to decide. The Rangers decided that they thought they were all powerful, but there had to be more into the plot of the Power Rangers. There had to be more puppy. There had to be more into this plot. And that would be, they brought a sixth Ranger in. But he never started good. He was never good. Till later. He started as a good kid. But then Rita brought him in. Turned him evil. And what happened? Okay, you're going in. You're going in. Go on. And that one was Tommy. And Tommy was Jason's rival. So anyway, Kimberly and Tommy were walking home to do something. I think Tommy was taking Kimberly home, I believe. And then Rita decided to capture him and make him the Green Ranger. So anyway, during the whole Grim with Evil thing, Rita decided to awaken this guy. The Dragon Zord. And you can't have the Dragon Zord without a Green Ranger. Couldn't have him without the Green Ranger. Tommy would jump up on a building and play a flute. He would. And he would sometimes get into the Megazord, the Dragonzord, to fight. But Tommy started out as an evil ranger, and then decided to fight Jason. Jason destroyed the sword. Okay, let's get back to doing what I was doing. Oh yeah. The Dragon Zord would come out of the water. You'd see his eyes out of the water. See his eyes in the water. And he'd come out of the water. The water would be all rushing and everything, and he would merge. And then his tail would come out, and he would start roaring and shaking off all the water. And then he would start walking. He'd start walking to the shore to go help out Tommy or the Rangers. But after the Green with Evil thing, and Jason destroyed the sword, Tommy and the Rangers decided to become a team. Tommy agreed to make up for all the damage that he did as a Green Ranger. And then he became a good guy. But yeah. The Dragon Zord is not really a bad looking toy. I like him. He's really light. His tail, if he was to spin around, would be spin his drill tip tail 6,400,000 RPM. Strong enough to cut through building. And the Dragon Zord does have lights and sounds. Now this Dragon Zord I have, he doesn't. He has lights and sounds, but his lights are. He's got one light out. I'll have to go in and fix it. So here's lights and sounds to him. Let's get the lights off and I'll show you what it looks like in the dark. It's pretty cool looking in the dark. Okay, let's shut him off. It's pretty cool looking in the dark. I just wish the lights were brighter. So anyway, in the show, after everything, the Rangers finally teamed up together, and Zordon introduced Dragon Zord in fighting mode. And later on, they introduced the Mega Dragon Zord. So, first of all, let's start with Dragon Zord in fighting mode. Start Dragon Zord in fighting mode. Turn Dragon Zord around. Pull his tail off. Let me move the camera up where you can see it better. Like that. Come around to him. Come between his legs and pull them apart. Let that drop. That's fine. And it's kind of loose when you have it. Now, put Dragon Zord back together. Fold his arms back into his plates. It's fine if they do that. Unlatch the arms, the side pieces. Close the pit up to have the torso made. Straighten up the legs. So he's back 80. Bend his knees. Pull these plastic flaps up. Like that. And like that. And right now that's it. That's it. Right. Now, you want to come up to the down Mega Zord. Take the power sword out of his hand. Take the mammoth head out of the hand. Disassemble the pterodactyl and just take his arms off, pull the tail back out, take the arms off, leave them like this. Pull the feet off, leave them like that. Then just put T-Rex back in Zord mode. Just put the T-Rex back in Zord mode. It's fine. Then we just put T-Rex back into the side, back over there. Put Pterodactyl the same way as that. That's fine. Now you want to take all your parts, except all your parts that I told you just leave together, and put them together. Line the legs up and just push down and lock. Then take your arms, connect them to the sides like that. You're going to have to just carefully get them in the right way. And that way like that. And put the horn down. And there's Dragon Zord in fighting mode. And he's big. Have to move the camera a bit up. Show it. Now we just make the power spear. To do that, the Dragon Zord set came with the podium. Podium, that's it. So under here there's a hole, and up here on the podium there's a nub connected together like that. Take the Dragon Zord tail and put it with the nub front. There's the power spear. And then let's just put Dragon Zord in fighting. Let's just put the spear in the Dragon Zord in fighting mode style. And there's your Dragon Zord in fighting mode with the spear. It's a pretty good looking toy. I like it. I like him a lot. Just, he doesn't look gimpy. He doesn't look that gimpy that he did on the show. He looks better in person. Now, you can just turn the lights. You can turn the lights off again, and just light the Dragon Zord chest crest up. Show like it's gained power. I'd say what I like about the Zord is how powerful he is, but he was slower than the down Megazord. That was fine. Instead of the power sword, he'd be able to go spear somebody else. He'd spear a monster. It'd cut through him like butter. And he's ready for battle. But they always had to make something more bigger, more powerful looking than him. And that was the Mega Dragon Zord. They would make the Mega Dragon Zord by taking the Down Megazord and Dragon Zord together. To do that transformation, see how much I turn my envelopes up the camera. 17 minutes and 17 seconds. Okay, I have it. And to make that transformation, they would come over here to the Dino Megazord, the Dragon Zord Fine mode. To do the transformation, let's take off the spear. Disassemble the whole power sphere. Only keep the tail and the chest, the crest piece. You don't need the podium anymore. Pull them apart. It's fine. And take it all apart, but leave everything together. Leave the arms in the same transformation. Leave the legs in the same transformation. Just take Dragon Zord off. And then just reform the Dino Megazord. And no, I don't chew Copenhagen. Song's just catchy. Now since Dino Megazord back how it was, make sure everything's all connected together. You can now make the Mega Dragon Zord with that. Simple. Pull the Mega Dragon Zord, pull the whole Dragon Zord Fine mode body out, the torso. Oh no, I broke it, oh no. But that's okay. Put the head back into normal position. Come down, lay it down, and you got these two connectors that latch on. Keep that together. Bring them down. Pull them out. And then get your Megazord ready for transformation. Pull the ends down. Put the horns in the back. Backwards like you put them back in T-Rex. And then just slide it down. And there's your Mega Dragon Zord. Make it more something. You can do this. Come around here where you can see. Just put the tail like this. Put the tail down. Like that. And put the crest down like that. And there's a toy mock-up of the Mega Dragon Zord. It's not a bad Zord. One of my favorites. One of my favorites of them. And a little precaution to make it more something. You can just put the power sword back on there. And yes, the horns do come off sometimes. So anyway, it's not a bad looking Zord. It'd be able to slice through some stuff. But in the attack of him, he would also have this. He'd have this greenish energy ball that would come out. Put it in the center and he'd fire it. Or he could just slice it. Slice enemies. And that's all I have to say about him. He's not bad looking. But the Dragon Zord is not a dinosaur. He's more from mythology. And he's okay. He's an okay Zord. Now there was always one thing that could come out. Before that happened, before the Mega Dragon Zord came, they did the Ultra Zord. The way Titanus came out, we are going to review Titanus in a couple seconds. The way Titanus came out into the scene was Jason and Tommy had to become a team to go find these special weapons to fight this monster. And when that happened, Titanus came out. And Titanus fought Jason and Tommy in battle. Titanus was shooting all his energy bolts and everything. As soon as they teamed together, Tommy and Jason found out that Titanus was really an ally. And that's how the Ultra Zord came out. To make the Ultra Zord, you had to have all the parts. Tommy, you had to have the Mega Dragon Zord, you had to have the Dragon Zord, the Mega Zord, and Titanus. Well, I happen to have the one and the only Titanus. And this thing is big. He's big. He is a Brachiosaur. He's motorized. And he carries Zords. He can only carry 3 Zords. 3 Megazord types. 3 Megazords that came around the series. The Mega Dragon Zord, he carried that to make the Ultra Zord. He carried the Ninja Zords to make the Ninja Falcon Ultra Zord. I think that's called. And he carried Shogun Zords. So he carried the Shogun Falcon Megazord. And it was all Ultra Zord type. But yeah, Titanus, is a wallop of a Zord. I got him off of BigDadToys.com when they had him for sale. I was the one who got him. And I like him. And he's a 22-inch Zord, so he's 2 feet. His head still moves pretty well. Yeah, the chains are very fragile. The chain harnesses don't like sand. Yeah, but the head still moves. The paws are still move. He's got the tail. He's got a white tail. He's massive. And he's motorized. So, Titanus is motorized. A few things you don't want to do with them is, before I put them off, is you don't want to put them on your carpet. It will slow down or burn the motor. Plus, I don't know what the size of the motor looks like, so I probably may not be able to replace it if it gets broken, the motor. And I really don't want to take Titanus apart. But that's why you should really be careful if you're going to buy this. whoever had him, thank you very much. The only thing I think would be wrong with them is if you look right here on the side, if you look carefully, let's take the piece out. The paint started chipping off. But that's fine. At least it still works. I click that back into place. And to show you, here's Titanus moving the thing. He's got a switch on the side of him. And he rolls. 1, 2, 3. And Titanus takes D batteries. Now, besides that, Titanus had one thing too. He can form the Ultra Zord with the Mega Dragon Zord. But first, before we transform him, you wanna... His mouth opens too, so you can roar for him. Still a good hinge on his mouth. When I was pretty young, I always wanted Titanus. And now, I'm 23 years old, and I finally have him. But, that's fine. That's fine. I got him a couple months ago, so pretty much I was told when I got him. But yeah, Titanus is not bad. I like him. I like him a lot. So anyway, I got a couple minutes left about him. So I'm gonna stop this video. I'm gonna stop this recording right now and get my battery. Okay. Let's finish it up. As I was saying, I promised that we're going to transform these guys into the Ultra Zord. So let's start it. Let's start off with Titanus. Take the chains off first. Set them aside. I know. I'm not going to stick them up into the. I'm not going to stick them up in the neck. Take his paws off. Straighten them up. There's some little plastic pieces. There's some little plastic pieces right here. Open them up. Slide back for a bit. Straighten up the paw. Set that aside. Come here to this piece right here. The thing looks like 5 cannons. Pulled off. Don't go Godzilla. Turn Titanus around to his tail. Pull his tail off. Like that. Turn him around. Yes, I know it's split apart. That's okay. That's what it's going to do now. So what we're going to do, take Titanus's tail and just carefully work it onto these little tabs on his paw, his shoulders, top of his legs. Line it up the right way. You have to be careful and just carefully put them in. Like that. Like that. Now Titanus has his guns. Come here to this. Pull the whole chest piece down. And there's some wheels that come there. Push them down. Now Titanus can roll. Now, just set Titanus' head there for a second. Open up his back. Let's turn him around. You can see it. Open his back up, and he's ready for that for a Megazord to come in. Now, before we do that, come to the Mega Dragon Zord, like that. Pull the power sword off. You won't need that anymore. Pull the Dragon Zord tail off. You won't need that on him anymore. Pull the Dragon Zord crest off. You won't need it anymore. Push the Mega Dragon Zord's arms up. And then, I know, lock the tail back in place because I forgot to. And then just set the Megazord in Titanus for a bit. That's fine. I know his cannon came off. That's okay. Okay, he's got back over there. Rotate Titanus around. And you want to have nub facing down like this. Plug it in the back. And it looks like Titanus has his little drill tail. You don't see it. So anyway, just move him around. Take the paws and flip them on the opposite sides that they're on. Move the little plastic piece off. You have to get it the right way to click it in. And we got that one. We got that one. They're on like that. Come on, get on. There. There we go. Bring it where you can see on the camera. Now, come right here, take this, and just lock it on, get it all situated. You may have to force it a bit, but lock it onto the pterodactyl. It's almost done, almost done. And take the chains, plug them back into the holes. Pull them back onto the holes. Okay. Now place his chains and close those plastic pieces. And plug that back into the hole. It's like it doesn't want to go back in. And then just move the arms, move them in there, and it looks like the Megazord's driving Titanus. Then your last piece is take the Dragon Zord crest, bring Titanus' head up for a second, take the crest, lock it into place, and there is your Ultra Zord. Just set this right here for a second, and the Ultra Zord is completed. Not a bad toy. Kind of powerful looking. It's scary looking in a way. And it's not bad. Collectible. It's always amazing how the best toys are always in the last century. I'd have to say I'd give this Zord a 9 out of 10. For transformation, for the whole plot to be, the transformation being done on the show, a 9 out of 10 would be really good. And the best thing is, you can pretend Titanus is going into battle. Turn him around. Turn around, you pretend the Ultra Zord's going into battle for battle. Going into battle. Just press the button on Titanus and it looks like he's going into battle to fight. But I like it because, one, you can have the lights on. The only complaint I don't like about it is the cannons right here. Could have at least had LEDs in there. And the cannons on the pterodactyl chest could have had lights on it. That's the only thing wrong with it. The eyes could have lit up too. But that's alright. It's an okay Zord. Now, this is not the only Zord this is not the only review I'm going to be doing. I planned on going through a timeline, showing you from 1993 all the way up to Magnaforce, and so on. Magnaforce hasn't been. I haven't got any of the Magnaforce toys. I got the Samurai toys and the beginning of the Season 2 Zords. And as soon as I have all of the Season 2 Zords, I will be back with another video to review it all. But, anyway, thank you for watching this video, and hope you like it. See you later.